Hello everyone, my name is Nadia Azah. Anugrah. My student number is 044. In this occasion, I would explain about the result of the analyzing the poetry titled Morning at the Window by Thomas Strange Eliot. Before I start with the background of the poem and the poet, I will read first the poetry. Morning at the Window by T.S. Eliot. There are rattling breakfast plates in the basement kitchens, and along the trampled edges of the street. I'm aware of the dumb souls of housemaids, sprouting despondently at area gates. The brown webs of folk toss up to me, twisted faces from the bottom of the street, and tear from a passerby with muddy skirts, an aimless smile that hovers in the air and vanishes along the level of the roofs. Okay, let's start with the background of the poem and the poet. Thomas Strange Eliot, born in September 26, 1888, in St. Louis, Missouri, U.S., and died January 4, 1965, in London, England. Eliot is an American English poet, playwright, literary critic, and editor. He is also a leader of the modernist movement in poetry in such work as The Westland in 1922 and Four Quartets in 1943. Eliot exercised a strong influence on Anglo-American culture from the 1920s until late in the century. The publication of Four Quartets led to his recognition as the greatest living English poet and man of letters, and in 1948 he was awarded both the Order of Merit and the Nobel Prize of Literature. Morning at the Window was written in 1914, some months after the outbreak of World War I. It was published in 1917 in T.S. Eliot's first poetry collection, Proverb and Other Observations. This book is widely known and recognized for featuring one of Eliot's most famous poems. The love song of G. Alfred Proverb, Morning at the Window, depicts the impression of the lyrical voice as he or she looks outside his or her window and observes the streets. Morning at the Window, although unrhymed, adopt the basic shape of the Spenserian stanza, namely 9 lines and ending with an Alexandrine. This poem is an images poem that presents an image that has been chosen to be the focus of this analysis, which is an image of poverty. Next to illustration of this poem. The sound of dirt plates rattling in basement kitchens, housemaids loitering outside the properties where they work, and then brown folk are all observation of modern urban life. The poor must work from early morning to late at night. They must leave early, rain or shine, force or fog. The speaker was aware of the family's mental and emotional state, also known as their psychology. It is said after a rather black depiction of the city. The maids who appeared one after the other at the cityscape lack identity, dignity, and a meaningful life. They are down. The brown mist that hid the speaker looked farther away. This is due to the polluted air in the city. With tears in his eyes, the frustrated man's distraught fast passed by. The speaker took another look and noticed her 50 gown. Someone approached and tried but failed to smile on the city's roof. The smile had vanished. Let's move to general meaning. Morning at the Window focuses on poor servant girls whose souls are dumb, moist, and dirt. He arouses sympathy without expressing it. The poem only presents objective correlative of poverty. The poet doesn't describe his feelings, but rather objects that correlate or correspond to sympathy for the poor. He strikes a balance between pathos or pity and a thoughtful mind and serious art. Eliot demonstrates how a personal emotional experience can be transformed into a universally thought-provoking image. Eliot also presents events in the order in which they occur in his mind. His impression can be seen in his twisted face, aimless smile, tear-filled eyes, and muddy skirt. Okay, next to the detailed meaning, the literary devices that I choose is metaphor, symbol, and the type of imagery. The first one is metaphor. In stanza 1, line 3, I'm aware of a dumb soul of housemaids. It means that the dumb soul emphasizes the woman's workers' unhappy and independent lives, which resulted in desperation and burden. From this vantage point, it is clear that Eliot sympathizes with and understands the situation. The second literary device is symbol, and the first one is there is in stanza 1, line 1. They are rattling breakfast plates in basement kitchens. The narrator implies basement not only as a literal place where they work underground, but also as a low condition of the workers or housemaids as a poor life or poverty. The second one in stanza 2, line 1. The brown waves of fog toss up to me. In this line, fog could represent a confusion about the situation outside the window, whether it is a reality or an illusion. The brown waves of fog could also represent the negative effect of industrialization on workers or housemaids in modern life, as supported by the line muddy skirts. And the last is in stanza 2, line 2. Twisted faces from the bottom of the street. Twisted face emphasizes the idea of modern emotion, which was seen in the worker face as depressed, sad, and hopeless, which is unlikely to be depicted in modern London. The next literary devices is type of imagery, and I am focused in visual imagery. Eliot employs imagery to convey his observation of modern life and urban living. The word basement in line 1, stanza 1 means underclass. Thus people are described as having damn souls in line 3, stanza 1, which means that they are deeply unhappy. The poet uses the verb sprouting in line 4. The word sprouting conjures up images of housemaids appearing out of nowhere. And the word despondently conveys to the reader that these people are deeply depressed about their lives and feel trapped in their situation with no way out of their monotonous and unfulfilling routines. And the last is the words brown waves of fog, twisted faces, muddy skirt, and aimless smile all represent the poor and burdened life as a worker or housemaid in this industrialization era in London, where they have no hope or destination of life. Okay, we arrive in conclusion. To sum up, Morning in the Window was written a few months after World War I. This poem, tough and rhyme, follows the basic structure of Spenserian stanza, 9 lines and ending with an Alexandrine. The focus of analysis this poem is poverty, because this issue was supported by the literary devices, metaphor, symbol, and imagery that support the meaning of the story. which is about the condition or situation of workers or housemates in modern urban life as observed by the subject or upper class in the poetry behind the window. The poetry also made the reader realize that the condition has sympathized the upper class. As a result, the author, me, is able to propose the theme no hope and happiness because of life with poverty. Okay, this is the references that I use. There are three book and journal and other online references. I think that's all from me. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.